Good day, guys. Hope you guys are well. I have an important update on episode one of Calling of a Ravenous Bird. This is about the prophetic warning that was sent out to Darwin City and the Australian government. Now, I have something back for you and something for you to think about. And this is in conjunction with the dream that happened on Saturday morning, 12th of June, 2021 or 2021. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get into the message. And if you listen to the first episode, right, of Calling of a Ravenous Bird, so this is just serves to the update and further information on. Like I said, the main thing that was going to happen, as God told me straight, was that there were going to be economic famines or economic depressions, and there's going to be economic turmoil in Darwin City. And there's already been news reports that I've seen subsequent to that is about the increasing crime rate, and also about the fact that people were actually getting homeless because they could not afford the new rental prices. And mainly is because I think for Northern Territory, because there's like no new buildings and new extractions, and again because of the gale force winds that happen over there and the typhoon kind of weather in Darwin City, that their houses over there are like reinforced, so they're extra reinforced than in comparison to the average house that is constructed in Australia. So now that is one factor as to why Australia, well, Darwin City doesn't have as many houses or as many properties to let, for one, meaning to rent out, or also to for people just to live in and to dwell in, unless you then take out a bond or something and then construct a house on a particular piece of land. So yeah, it's particular to the rental market in this instance. So what I'm saying is that a lot of people are just being kicked out and just can't afford the rental period. I don't know what it is with the laws in the particular state, within the Northern Territory state, but it's like it allows the landlord to put up the price with 30 days notice, and then you can get evicted within 30 days notice. So it's like apparently the only state, from what I know. I don't know, there could be something else, but I'm just going off the cuff in this instance. But anyway, so what is actually happening, right, in the stream on the this morning that I had on the 12th. Now, what I did say to that this actually ties in with the same dream, where I heard God's voice talking about me not attending a certain wedding because of the idol worship. Now, with Darwinism, like I stated on the episode one, was the fact that it has this premise that takes away credit from God for all His creation. Okay, so and funny enough, this is something I'd been studying in quite in detail. If you consider scientific knowledge and science in its true form, is actually about observation. And even Darwin himself, Charles Darwin, um, was was he was well aware of that, and he actually adopted that. But somehow he had the whole thing where the theory was about taking credit away from God, and he just birthed his own new evolutionary theory, which means that the different species are due to this whole evolution, rather than what the Bible actually says, that God in Himself created everything and all the different variety, right? So I think perhaps I need to just go to scripture here, and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna open up the book of Genesis. So just hold on here, so I just get this perfectly right for you. Yeah. Okay, so sorry for that awkward little silence there for a little while. Yes, so I just want to read Genesis 1, verse 24, when he said, Then God commanded, where it said, sorry, when then God commanded, let the earth produce all kinds of animal life, domestic and wild, large and small. It was done. So God made them all, and he was pleased with what he saw. Then God said, And now we will make human beings. They'll be like us and resemble us. They will have power of the fish, the birds, and all animals, domestic and wild, large and small. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. So what I've read there is Genesis 1, 24 to 27. I was supposed to start at 24 and 25, but then I just kind of carried on. So just for your own reference, go to Genesis, the book of Genesis, and chapter 1 really, up to chapter 2 even, verse 4, where he really talks about everything else and about the story of creation. It's right over there. And so it just says that everything God made, he was happy with and he deemed as perfect. So that's one thing that you need to now take into consideration whenever you discuss and see about the theory of Darwinism. Okay, so now let's to get this into perspective now, what's going on in terms of this whole um, prophecy that I've where God actually had me issue out a prophecy under my title, aka as a prophet. I don't obviously call myself that, but that's how God views me, right? So this time around, okay, so like I said, just be mindful of the economic situation in Darwin, right? And whereas Darwin City itself, where now in this dream, what happened there was after I had to depart the wedding, which I spoke about in the last video, there was this theory about what's happening in Darwin now, and this is part of the next message, is that the homeless people, the people who are being kicked out, are going to start drowning. Now, with that said, just pay attention to the storms and perhaps floods, and the people will be on the streets mainly. And I have to say this now because the news is not going to report on it um, correctly, and they're not going to report it in full, that the floods are going to happen, and certain homeless people, unfortunately, you're going to hear things about drownings here and there, over there. So, like I stated in the first in the episode 1 of Calling of a Ravenous Bird, that these these economic famines is one sign, right? And the second thing is, I'm afraid there's going to be a demolition of Darwin City. Well, I'm not too sure. God didn't tell me anything further as far as it falling, as exactly how it's going to happen. But here's another sign, of just saying what happens next, apart from the economic famine, which has already happened. Okay, but now there's going to be certain things about drownings, and the city is known for typhoon weather, like I said earlier. So just be careful of the weather patterns over there, and you're going to hear people on the streets going to start drowning, and people who are homeless, and really, and obviously we can only pray for them to find God so that they can find solace and a place to stay, and deliverance really from whatever's happening into that city. And yeah, like I said, 4 times it's happened before where the city had to be rebuilt, and this time I don't see how it's going to be rebuilt, only because of the fact that the Australian government wouldn't have money. And the main reason would that be because of the defaulting of China as the biggest trade partner, and China not accepting any more imports coming from Darwin and Australia. So yes, I'm afraid this is what is led the world is led to, and this is what's happening now. Yeah, over there, but it's just an update I had to give. So just be careful. There's going to be drownings, and you're going to hear people on the streets and homeless people, unfortunately, going to be drowning. Um, yeah, what more can I say? And again, also in the dream, what was prevalent was about how God is even able to take an ocean, lower the water from the ocean to even reach the altitude of an airplane flying over. So I think it's also another sign to say that there's going to be a big shoot, and just be careful of we might see some abnormalities, things that we've never really seen before coming to the fore. I'm not saying that it's particularly going to Darwin City, because the only thing I was told was about the drownings of the homeless people and the people who are in impoverished situations. But pay attention to the cyclones. That is also something that I did say on, I think it was episode 6, if I'm not mistaken, of Calling of a Ravenous Bird, where I spoke about the USA and the world exactly, and I was just seeing the weather patterns and the weather report, so showing economic famines, and then showing the rest of the planets taking the form of South Africa. But that is something unrelated. But I did feel there that the weather, because it was on a weather report and what I saw, that the weather is going to be something that's quite prominent in this case. Anyway, much love and light. Please continue to pray and have a prayer life. Seek out God. And if you need me to give any sort of guidance that will point you to the right direction and to point you to God, just hit me up, and I'm always open. Peace out. Much love. Yeah, let me know what you think on the comment section.